Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The modernization of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act is one of the most critical issues facing the House Judiciary Committee. I am encouraged that we have the Director of National Intelligence, Michael McConnell, and the Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division, Ken Weinstein, here today to provide the committee with important information on the real-world implications of FISA reform. This is the first appearance of the Director of National Intelligence before the Judiciary Committee. Director McConnell's intelligence and national security career spans over 30 years. He has served under both Democratic and Republican presidents, including as the Director of the National Security Agency in the Clinton administration. Despite his impressive nonpartisan service in the intelligence community, his motives have been impugned simply because he supports a policy he believes in. Such partisan criticisms distract us from what should be a nonpartisan issue, protecting our country from terrorist attacks. Foreign terrorists are committed to the destruction of our country. We are at war with sophisticated foreign terrorists who are continuing to plot deadly attacks. It is essential that our intelligence community has the necessary tools to detect and disrupt such attacks. Foreign terrorists have adapted to our efforts to dismantle their operations. As their terrorist operations evolve, we need to acquire new tools and strategies to respond to their threats. We have a duty to ensure that the intelligence community can gather all the information they need to protect our country. In the 30 years since Congress enacted the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, telecommunications technology has dramatically changed, and terrorists have employed new techniques to manage and expand their terrorist networks. Before we left for the August recess, Congress passed important legislation to fill a gap in FISA. We need to make that fix permanent and pass other measures needed to prevent another terrorist attack against our nation. FISA does not require a court order to gather foreign communications between foreign terrorists outside the United States. The real issue is this: should FISA require a court order when a known foreign terrorist communicates with a person inside the United States? The intelligence community and 30 years of experience under FISA say no. For the last 30 years, FISA never required such an order. Requiring a court order for every phone call from a foreign target to a person inside the U.S. is contrary to FISA and common sense. How can the intelligence community anticipate a communication from a foreign terrorist to a terrorist inside our country? In much the same way as a criminal wiretap, FISA provides, and has provided for 30 years, specific minimization procedures to protect the privacy of persons inside the United States with whom a foreign target may communicate. It is unclear why now, after all this time, some seek to dismantle rather than modernize FISA. Requiring separate FISA authority for these calls could be a deadly mistake. Calls between a foreign terrorist and a person located inside the United States should be minimized in accordance with well-established procedures. To do otherwise is to jeopardize the safety of our nation. The Director of National Intelligence made it clear that FISA modernization is essential to the intelligence community to protect America from terrorist attacks. The American people understand what is at stake. Almost 60% of Americans polled on the subject of FISA reform supported the Protect America Act. Less than 26% opposed it. The simple fact is that Americans support surveillance of foreign terrorists when they contact persons in the United States. I look forward to today's hearing with the hope that the debate on FISA reform will lead to enactment of all the Director's proposals submitted in April. These proposals would ensure assistance from private entities in conducting authorized surveillance activities, make certain that private entities are protected from liability for assisting the government, and streamline the FISA process so that the intelligence community can direct resources to essential operations. These reforms are long overdue. They should be debated without exaggerated claims of abuse or unfounded horror stories of threats to civil liberties. We should maintain our commitment to winning the war against terrorism. We must do all that we can to ensure that the words "never again" do in fact ring true across our country. Mr. Chairman, thank you for yielding the time, and I'll yield back.